The recent tensions between McLaren and Red Bull have stirred up Formula One, with the FIA's statement disrupting both teams' strategies. Ferrari's move to sign Lewis Hamilton further intensifies the situation, potentially shifting the sport's power dynamics. It's an exciting time for F1 fans, with the future of the sport hanging in the balance. Adding to the intrigue, Robert Doornbos, the former Dutch F1 driver, thinks Ferrari might be having some serious buyer's remorse about signing Hamilton. Can you imagine? They're probably watching him tear it up with Mercedes and thinking, whoa, maybe we jumped the gun on that one. Doornbos, who raced for Red Bull back in the day, reckons Lewis is absolutely buzzing about joining the Ferrari family. Who wouldn't be? This move has been the talk of the paddock since the announcement before this season even kicked off, and the anticipation has been through the roof. The reality is starting to hit hard. With just 5 races left with Mercedes, Hamilton's probably counting down the days until he's behind the wheel of that Ferrari. The shift in power feels like it's right around the corner, and it's making the final stretch of the season feel even more intense. As the year wraps up, fans are buzzing with anticipation to see how Hamilton's next chapter will unfold. On the other side, FIA steward Johnny Herbert has some serious advice for Lando Norris. It's time to bring the fight to Max Verstappen if he's got any shot at the 2025 title. Herbert's calling for Norris to step up his aggression next season after an electric 2024 where he snagged 4 wins and helped McLaren secure their first constructors' title since '98. Norris has proven he's got the speed, but there were a few moments where he missed his chance to take it to Verstappen, whether it was poor starts or tough battles that let the Dutchman seal the deal in Las Vegas. It's clear that next year, Norris will need to be even sharper to make it happen. Herbert, speaking to Coin Poker, urged Norris to up his game for 2025. Norris has to stand up to Verstappen more often, he said. He knows he didn't always bring his best this year, but from what I hear, he's fully aware of it and knows he needs to raise the bar next season. Norris, McLaren's star driver, made a serious push as Verstappen's biggest rival throughout 2024. While their intense on-track battles kept fans on the edge of their seats, the respect between the two often kept things from getting too heated. Their off-track friendship definitely had an impact on how they raced each other. The most explosive moment came at the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. A clash at Turn 3 caused disastrous punctures for both, with Norris forced to retire and Verstappen struggling to finish 5th. Norris was vocal about wanting an apology from Verstappen, but it never came. Meanwhile, Verstappen made it clear that their friendship was what mattered most. As the season unfolded, drama continued to build, but it wasn't just about the drivers going head-to-head. The real spark came from how the teams responded to each twist and turn. Norris, far behind Verstappen in the standings, never quite found that spark to challenge the champion head-on. Johnny Herbert thinks it's time to stop playing nice. Chatting with Coin Poker, the F1 legend said, Lando Norris needs to toughen up if he's going to take on Verstappen in 2025. He's got to stand up to Max more often. It's clear he hasn't been at his best this year, but from what's been heard, he knows it's time to change things up. This is a big moment, not just for Lando, but for F1. Drivers are starting to realize they can't back down when going up against someone like Max. Next season is shaping up to be wild, and that's what makes F1 so thrilling. Max pushes like no one else, and now it's Lando's turn to show he's got what it takes. The upcoming season is set to be a real battle, with McLaren gearing up to take on Red Bull and Norris ready to bring the fight. Unlike last year, when Verstappen often had the upper hand and put Norris in tough spots, this time the British driver will have the tools to push back and make things interesting. Ferrari has jumped into the conversation about Lewis Hamilton's final season at Mercedes, and things are getting interesting. As his move to Ferrari in 2025 looms, new insights from his 2024 season are stirring up the paddock. While Hamilton had his moments on the track, it was clear his qualifying pace was a major issue, with teammate George Russell outpacing him in 19 of the 24 races. Hamilton himself was candid about his struggles, admitting after the Qatar GP, "I'm just slow. Same every weekend. The car felt fine, no real issues, but that's about it." It's a rare moment of vulnerability from a 7-time world champ, and Ferrari is definitely paying attention. There's been some buzz lately about whether Lewis Hamilton, often hailed as one of the greatest F1 drivers ever, might be losing his spark. The first sign of a driver's decline is usually seen in qualifying. and Hamilton's struggles with one-lap speed have been a hot topic throughout the 2024 season. But Ferrari's team principal, Frederic Vasseur, isn't buying into those worries. At a Ferrari Christmas event, he shrugged off concerns about Hamilton's form, stressing that race day performance is what really counts. "We know better than anyone that points are earned on Sunday. In 2023, we were great in qualifying, but struggled in the race. This year, we've made a solid leap forward in race management and tire handling. Charles Leclerc has stepped up his game, and he'll carry that momentum into 2025. So no, I'm not concerned about Hamilton's qualifying. He's still a race day legend." Vasseur highlighted Hamilton's impressive comeback at the Las Vegas GP, where he made an epic recovery from a disappointing 10th place qualifying position to finish second, right behind Russell. His 50 laps in Vegas were a masterclass, starting from P10 and ending up so close to Russell. That's the kind of drive that shows he's still got it. "I'm not worried at all." But not everyone shares Vasseur's confidence. Eddie Jordan, former boss of the Jordan F1 team, raised serious doubts about Hamilton's mindset, warning that even a hint of insecurity could spell trouble. "Belief is everything in this sport. If you're even slightly unsure of yourself, you're done. If Hamilton's starting to question his speed, that little bit of doubt could grow and take him down. Honestly, if I were Ferrari, I'd have to reconsider. Once self-doubt creeps in, it's often the start of a driver's decline." Aston Martin boss Mike Crack is sticking up for Lance Stroll, despite all the criticism he's been getting this season. Even though there's a noticeable gap between Stroll's performance and teammate Fernando Alonso's, who's a two-time world champion, Crack insists that the public view of Stroll is way off and doesn't give him enough credit for his role on the team. The numbers tell the story. Alonso has racked up 296 points, while Stroll's sitting at 98. And when it comes to qualifying, Alonso's ahead by a landslide. But Crack isn't letting those stats define Stroll. He argues that comparing anyone to Alonso, one of F1's greatest of all time, is always going to make the gap look bigger than it really is. "Look at the gap," Crack said. "It's actually small when you compare it to someone like Alonso. We've got a guy who's seriously into car development, simulator work, staying fit, and really contributing in meetings." Crack pointed out that a lot of the criticism aimed at Stroll comes from misunderstandings, often fueled by the media. He believes Stroll is unfairly judged based on his media appearances and personality, rather than his actual racing or commitment. He gets judged mainly on how he handles media duties. "He's a racer first, and for me, a racer's job is to drive. It's unfair when you see some of the comments. They're often made without much thought because they fit the public narrative. The picture being painted is really skewed." Stroll's dedication to the sport has also been questioned, especially with Aston Martin facing a tough 2024 season. Some people have wondered if Stroll still has a passion for racing, but Crack shoots those doubts down, pointing to Stroll's drive to improve and his hands-on approach throughout the season. He shared how Stroll even asked for extra testing during a recent break to fine-tune his skills, a move Crack sees as proof of his commitment. "During the 3-week break, I had Lance on the phone asking if we could arrange some driving in an old car because he wants to keep racing. In a sport with no testing, we have someone who loves to drive." The 2024 F1 season has been full of twists, and as we look ahead to 2025, the drama only intensifies. With McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari in the mix, next year is shaping up to be an unforgettable battle. Norris is gearing up for a more aggressive push. Hamilton's future with Ferrari remains a talking point, and Stroll's commitment to the sport continues to spark debates. The stakes have never been higher in Formula One. So what are your predictions for 2025? Who do you think will come out on top? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts on the upcoming season.